Hey, what's up? Another daily vlog video. This bike has 28,000 miles on it. This is the second muffler I've put on here because I misdiagnosed it and thought it was the muffler. Anyway, I was riding and this part just fell out, right? So I'm going to use some JB Weld to get this to stay back on there. But first I got to get this and just show you. It's just not a very large muffler. GY6. You know, of course you probably want to see what it looks like inside. That's what it looks like inside. Come on, camera. You can do it. That's what it looks like inside. So it's not enough. It's not a whole lot of muffler, but you know, it definitely would be great if I had not had this happen. So what I'm going to show is a little bit of JB Weld, just in case anybody else is curious about this. You know, I'm just making sure that the picture is clear. So what I'm going to do now is wrap it with the JB Weld, but the first step is to make sure that this goes on there the way I need it to. And it's not really exactly the perfect fit, and I had it fitting on there before, but sometimes you just got to kind of cheat it a little bit. And I may have to get my mallet, so let me pause real quick and get my mallet. Okay, we're back. So once again, this is the part that fell off. The rivets, I guess, went bad. Whatever. So if I can start from the bottom, and I got a mallet. Let's see if that mallet will help me get this thing to stay in there. That would be nice if it did. But I could tell I'm kind of hitting that metal rod, so I'm trying to keep that metal rod kind of tipped up there so that the circle can fit around it. It's a little tricky. Bump it, we'll just rock with that. Not quite. So my idea was to wrap this connection point with a bunch of JB Weld exhaust tape to recreate the seal. If I can recreate the seal, then you know it should stay pretty much together. But it's not exactly the most graceful thing that's happening right now. Damn. So let me just work on that. So I have an idea. So, because I know that the inner ring has to be up a little bit, I'll set this in here and I'll feed that in there. Yeah, see that? Boom, perfect. So I just use a screwdriver inside to lift that internal part. And a little bit of a hammer to make sure that gets in there as much as possible. Right? I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, we're closer, but not a cigar. Let's try this again. So it's not going to be a perfect fit, obviously. But I think it's got that rivet in there, but I don't really have a good way of getting rid of that rivet unless I can delete this rivet right here. Let's see if I can do that. If I can get rid of that rivet, and make it pop all the way out. And then I think I'll have the clearance I need, and that will be great. So let's try that. Okay, all the rivets are out. Let's remove any excess metal that can cause damage later. And we're going to try to put this back on. Again, I'm going to use this to kind of elevate that pipe inside. There we go. And that's probably the best fizz I'm going to get. It's probably not going to get any better than that. It's probably not going to get any better than that. That's on there pretty damn good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get the JB Weld tape. They say, and what I'm going to do is wrap all this around over and over again until there's no more tape. So I got the JB Weld tape. They say smush it around. It came with 2 gloves. We're going to put those gloves on. Whew. We'll try this again. They say that the chemicals are a skin irritant, and that's why you need to have gloves on. And they say you put the tape on, you wrap it with the aluminum tape, and then let it bake in for 20 minutes with the engine running. So, and let me just talk about why I'm doing this, because the parts shops, they had none part, and they don't say when they're going to get more of these. And I didn't want to risk going on eBay. I don't know a good Discord group to ask. So, and this tape was it was very inexpensive. All right, so I'm sure that's a good view of it all. I'm opening up the tape with a prayer. There's a lot of gunk and goo in here. Here's the bag, and there's a lot. Ooh, look at all that nasty stuff in there, huh? All right, the bag is out. Ooh, let's let the fun begin. So I'm just gonna start with the top, and they say wrap it tight, but man, how can you get a tight wrap around this and, you know, feel like you're getting a good wrap around if it's so freaking slippery? I don't want to ruin it, but I don't really have much of a choice. Oh gosh, I don't want that dirt on there, but oh man, it's okay. Keep going. You keep going, man. Am I botching this? Probably pretty bad. And on the internet too, I'm quite sure there's some gearheads to say, hey, you're fucking it up, man. I get that. Oh man. But I'm trying not to touch anything of mine on my person with this chemical on it, because I really want that to be wrapped well. I think I did okay. Could it be better? Probably. Oh man, not pretty. Oh man, I'm not really too comfortable about posting this online, but just kind of molding it. It does kind of mold a little bit. Damn. So, and don't wear loose glasses because they will fall off your head while you're trying to do something important. And then they say wrap this around with this aluminum tape. Right. Totally. Yeah, totally doing that. Totally gonna try and do that. well, the most important part is where I need to seal, not the end of the dang on thing. Because, and then on top of that, the diameter is so different in shape and in size. So I'm not going to try and wrap around there. I guess the tape is best suited to wrap around cylinders, right? Not necessarily odd shapes and things. So yeah, so I did it again. I'm probably going to need to wrap this aluminum around it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm just going to have to roll with it like that because I am an amateur at this. And I want to wash this off my hands, so I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. I keep degreaser by the sink so I can wash off kind of harsh stuff. And it says let it run for 20 minutes. So I'm going to let this engine run for 20 minutes and then we'll be back. So we'll be back in 20 minutes to see what happens. All right, we're back. It's 20 minutes later. And they say in the video, once it's done, you should be able to roll. So let's see if it's a little throttle doesn't make it blow off. Let's see. Well, it's holding. I'm not going to touch the exhaust, but that's my botched. Hey man, you do what you got to do. Like I said, the internet experts can say what they want to say. I get it. It wasn't perfect, but it worked out. So that's my video. See you guys later.